Ready.
Yes, and we are live. We're starting a little bit early. I know I said this was going to start at 8, but we're starting a few minutes early. So here we go. We'll start with the lady first. Jewel, introduce yourself.
Salutations, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Gaming Maze Judo Writer Eli Moonstar. To an unusual podcast that we'll call Hump Day, I think. So it's a work in progress.
Okay, then. And it's me, Mr. Red Fox. So this is a new little thing where we just have like a little hour or so discussion talking about a game property that someone has a good idea for, and I let them state their case. But before we do, this first episode, we're talking about Gauntlet, the series, the old arcade series that was then ported to consoles in the third gen, and then kind of disappeared for a while. And then it came back during the fifth gen and the sixth gen.
Doesn't resurface since. Though then again, I think they've got them.
And a little bit in the seventh gen, and then it kind of disappeared for a while until Warner Brothers bought it back in perhaps one of the worst installments I've ever seen. But that's neither here nor there. So what was the first Gauntlet game you played, Jewel?
Well, I had 3 experiences of it. The first would be I actually was in a movie theater for that one.
All right.
It was for one play, 50 cents. But I got pretty far in it, getting to the first boss.
Let me guess, the dragon.
Sadly, yeah. And of all things, I had to be I'm the one that, and well, it was not a fun task when you're doing it alone. I got hurt. The N64, which I played at a friend's house, and the two of us actually beat the game, which wasn't easy, but. And my last experience was with the PlayStations for Gauntlet. Never finished for that, but I did it pretty far. What about you?
I have a similar thing, except it's a little bit older. The first Gauntlet game I played was the one for the arcade, the OG one for the arcade. That was unique because it had voice sampling. So like when you were near death, the announcer would be like, "Your wizard is almost dead. Your wizard, your wizard needs health."
Yeah.
And I always like playing as the wizard.
Open the treasure chest and unleash death.
Yeah, I always like playing as the wizard in the OG original Gauntlet, just because the wizard had like the best projectiles, in my opinion. So that's
we both enjoyed the wizard.
Yeah, and then I kind of stuck with the wizard because I put it down. I went to a friend's house way back in the day, and he had a Master System and an NES, and he had Gauntlet for both systems. And I was like, this sucks, because compared to the arcade version, it did kind of suck, the home version. And then I kind of left Gauntlet alone.
Sadly.
Yeah, after that, I kind of left Gauntlet alone until basically something different happened. And the different thing that happened was that I went to an arcade. Well, no, I went to the movies, just like you. I went to the movies, and our movie theater, when I was like, this was another state. This isn't where I live now, but like the movie theater, I've always gotten to the movies early because I like to, get my seat, get my ticket, get everything out the way, so then I can watch the trailers and see what's coming up, in the future. So I got there fantastically early. Like the movie started at like 1:30 and I got there at 12. So I had to kill like an hour and a half. So I basically had like I'd already bought my ticket like previously, and I wasn't getting any popcorn at the movie theater because I'm not spending like back then like a tub of popcorn was like $10. I was like, hell no. So
Yeesh.
yeah, I took a dollar. I took like $10 instead of spending it on popcorn, and I just started playing Gauntlet, and I missed the beginning of the movie playing Gauntlet. Gauntlet Legends, the arcade game, and I chose the wizard, the yellow wizard, because he was a black guy. Um, and you know, I'm big on playing people of color in my video games if I have a choice. So, and they brought back the announcer. I don't know if it was the same guy, but he's like, "Your wizard is almost dead," you know. And Gauntlet Legends on the Gauntlet Legends, the redo from Midway was off the chain. I love that game.
Oh God.
Yes,
Nail on the
I
head
love that
there.
game so much. Yes, I love that game so much that like literally like as soon like that Christmas I got Gauntlet Legends for my N64, and I loved that game. I mean, I loved Gauntlet Legends. I loved that game so much. It was such a great game to play. Um, it's just very well made. And then obviously I kept on going, and I eventually got my hands on Gauntlet Legends Dark Legacy, which is the sequel for the GameCube. And then I even got the next game in the series, which was like Gauntlet, like Seven Sorrows or something like that. But Seven Sorrows doesn't play anything like the other Gauntlet games. It kind of sucks. So,
Let's
and
say, is that the Xbox one?
no, it was on the Xbox 360 and the PS3. It never came to the Wii because, you know, this was at the time when basically like companies would dump shovelware on the Wii so that they could pay for their AAA games for the Xbox 360 and the PS3.
I was asking if it was for the Xbox, and you confirmed me.
Mm.
I was I was asking if it was for the Xbox, as I remember, because I remember seeing a because I remember in my heads that that somebody had a Gauntlet game book. I mean, as in the little books that we barely see in our memories. And if you're talking about the Xbox version of Gauntlet,
Um, I have to say, my favorite version of Gauntlet was like I like Gauntlet Legends and Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I think my favorite is still Gauntlet Legends just because um it played a little bit better than Gauntlet Dark Legacy, but both of them are pretty good. Basically, Gauntlet kind of went downhill with the one that came to the 7th gen consoles, except for the Wii. And then it kind of like Warner Brothers, when Midway finally disappeared entirely, Warner Brothers got their hands on the Gauntlet license. Well, Sega did, and then Sega sold it to Warner Brothers, and they released this shitty Gauntlet game that no one cared about, in my opinion. That's not very good. It's not a very good Gauntlet game. It's terrible. I'm just gonna keep it real. It's a steaming, it's a pile. It's a
well, you got a
pile.
bigger.
It's a pile of dookie.
Well, if anything, I can admit that Gauntlet's line history, as far as I know it, it's kind of a mess all over the place.
Well, I think, like I said, its best times were in the 5th and 6th gen, in my opinion, and then it kind of went downhill from there. Because basically, it's like Gauntlet Legends was basically like we're bringing the arcade version to your home, but we're making it better. We're adding more content. And there was more content in Gauntlet Legends. Like there was all this extra stuff you could do. There were extra characters. There was like five extra characters on top of the four you had. There were secret areas. There was an extra boss. I mean, it was just a better game. And even Gauntlet Dark Legacy had like seven extra characters on. No, yeah, seven extra characters on top of the six that were already there. I mean, it was a lot of content, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's quality.
Sadly, something that we culture. Mm.
And then they tried to make it. Well, they're like, well, like Gauntlet Seven Sorrows is basically just it's a crappy Diablo clone, um, and not a good one. Like it's like, okay, you're trying too hard. And then even the one that came out from Warner Brothers is just another Diablo clone, except it's even worse than Seven Sorrows, if you can imagine, which is amazing because Seven Sorrows was not a good game.
Mm.
Yeah.
I thought it couldn't get any worse.
It got worse, yeah. Because I have that game. I got that game because it was like $10. No, it was like a humble bundle, and I got it for like five. Like I spent $10, and I got that and like three other arcade classics that had been revamped or something. And
I
I
was gonna
mean,
say you got ripped off for the price it should have been.
well, normally when it was first released, it was like $39.99, so it's already a budget game. And then, but when it came out for $39.99, I was like, I'm not spending $39.99 on this. And I waited and I waited and I waited, and I finally got a humble bundle where I got like some other quality games for way less than that. So I don't feel bad about spending a little bit of money I did spend because I'm cheap. But
I was about to say, by the looks of it, it should the price of that game when you got $4 basically.
well, like I said, I am cheap. I am a very cheap person. I may be the cheapest person you'll ever meet. I am I am cheap.
For
I
me, I go cheap when it comes to some games, but when it comes to other games, I try to see if I can find it at a good price at all.
uh, no, I'm just cheap. Like the only company whose games I will spend full price on are Nintendo games. Like everyone else, I'm like, yeah, I'll wait till it's on sale, or if there's like a buy one get one.
Yeah, I agree with you on that.
Because I just don't feel like it's like and indies I'll get day one full price, but those normally aren't $60 games, so I don't feel
They
too bad about it.
they usually are about $10 or something close.
Yeah, indies. I think the most expensive indie I bought was one for $39.99, but I was like, I don't care. And it was a humble bundle where you got all of Double Fine's games. Like you got like stacking, you got Headlander, you got Psychonauts, you got Grim Fandango, you got um, that awesome game where you play a biker.
Please don't let it be that ticket to ride.
I think it was like Overdrive or Maximum or something like that. But anyway, yeah, huge fan, huge fan of that game. I know some people will be like, oh man, why do you spend that much on the Double Fine people? I like Double Fine. I've always liked Double Fine. I think they're awesome. So there you go.
That's
But that's
awesome. But I don't know about their future.
what Double Fine.
Yeah,
The way I feel about it is this: if they can pull off a Psychonauts 2, I'm down. Like if they can pull off a Psychonauts 2, I'm happy.
the future awaits. On that note,
Yeah,
though, speaking of
because
future, what future that we want to see for Gauntlet, I think, right?
yes. So you go first.
Huh? You cut off on me for a moment.
No, you go first. You give your take first.
Okay, for me, I actually would like to see it in a sense merge out like and allow you to actually have a few stats like if you combat with one of these guys, you can actually do more damage or or make it so your long range attacks do more damage or have goes up or projectile speed in this case. And well, if you're going if you're going to give this some element, well, why not make it so that if you're having trouble in a certain spot, you could jump out of the way. I'm just throwing ideas at the moment, but otherwise, I throw up like you can combine it like D&D and and give some big adventures of full meaning. The only big problem, I'm not sure of entirely, is if you're supposed to go mission to mission to find everything like gauntlet or go level by level and level select some Mario games.
Hmm, that's a good point. That's a good point. I what can I say? I think I think I would like to see from Gauntlet them essentially go with a um like it would be cool if they made like they gave you a bigger world because in previous Gauntlet games you like have a central hub and then you go to different areas. Like what if you have a central hub, but then from that hub you go to other areas, but those areas are hubs within themselves. And as you complete levels within those little sub hubs, if you will, those sub worlds, the central area gets more prosperous. Like let's say you go to the forest area, which is the elven archers
Mm-hmm.
home area. Like as you clear up areas and defeat the enemies in those areas and do what you need to do, you bring prosperity back to this area. So there's like NPCs you can talk to and buy stuff from. Like you can get from the apothecary, you can get magic potions, which were a big thing in Gauntlet Legends. And maybe you can maybe they add some added depth, kind of like how you said you want added depth where like you can equip weapons that actually change the nature of how your attacks work.
Of the attacks.
Yeah, so like let's say you're an archer, you can go to the forestry area, the forest area in that sub area, and you can buy, let's say, a silver bow, which basically makes it so that you do extra damage to the undead. So if there's like skeletons and necromance things, a silver bow is going to do extra damage against those enemies. It might do normal damage against non-undead enemies, but against undead enemies, the archer is your friend if she has a silver bow, and she's the only person who can use a silver bow. No other character can. Well, okay, maybe the weird animal animal anthropomorphized character, secret character that Gauntlet Legends has had for years now, that are like the alternate to those characters. So uh, the the tigress is the elven archer's alternate cat lady, which I mean is cool. I mean I can't get mad about that.
That actually works in a sense because if you be kind of like mixing Gauntlet with Mario 64 in a sense.
Yeah, yeah, and like you literally like stuff as you do things, like things get bigger. Like you get access to better weapons, you level up, you become more powerful, all that fun jazz. And I think that would make a really good game. I don't know if it'll be done, but I would enjoy that title.
I agree on that one. Actually, sounds like a very good idea than what I had in mind. I mean, if anything, I thought Gauntlet could take a page out of D&D and try to grow their characters a bit when you even level up or take tasks.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, and maybe not when like every level up you can choose certain stats, but like kind of like how in Gauntlet Legends, like when you reach level 10, it would say your character has become known. Your character has become familiar, and at like level 25, your character has become renowned. At level 50, your character has become like whatever, and at 99, you're like your character has become
Legendary.
uh, legendary. Yeah. So what if like every time you hit those benchmarks, you could choose like maybe like one or like 2 to 4 branches to branch your character off. So basically, by the end of the game, my wizard would be very different from someone else's wizard because we wouldn't choose the same power, like same branches to specialize in. So someone's warrior wouldn't be the same as my warrior, etc., etc. You get what I'm saying?
Like somebody's archer could specialize in pierce damage, while another could be a specialist in multi arrows.
Exactly. Or maybe you could have it be where like okay, it's like, well, the wizard has let's say like your wizard, you could make your wizard so that the wizard's familiar gets more powerful, gets bigger. So basically, let's say I focus on making my familiar get buffed up, where someone else would focus on, I don't know, making their projectiles more powerful. So my projectiles might not be as powerful as the person who specialized in making their projectiles more powerful. My familiar would totally wreck people's stuff just by, and so that could add some depth to Gauntlet Legends, um, in my humble opinion.
Yeah. Though, if one thing I think we could both agree on would be local and online play.
Yeah, I could see that.
Though the work with other people's character making. Otherwise, that would be a dream gauntlet game that we both.
Yeah, I could see that. Um, I could see that.
Up something, ladies and gentlemen. Please wait.
So, but yeah, Gauntlet was one of my favorite games, and I really think that it could become deeper just by people essentially them adding more RPG aspects to it could make it into a better franchise. Um, could this work all the time? I don't know, but
That
I'd play
that'd be something to be waiting for. We
it.
can't have our expectations that high, especially knowing who holds it now.
All right.
But hey, what about you?
But like I just said, I really do think I really do think that Gauntlet could be brought back if they've added more RPG elements to it. If they you know, online and local multiplayer is great, but the problem with online multiplayer would be, okay, how are we going to get it? Because in Legends, 2 players had to share the same screen. Um, so would we make this more of like the arcade experience where you have to share the same screen, or would it be like you're aware of each other, you know where each other are, but you can do 2 totally different things at the same time? For online, that's easier than, but for local, you'd have to do split screen. And a lot of people don't like split screen, and I don't know why, because it can be fun if you know what you're doing.
I was gonna say that with local player, I thought it would be one screen and everybody gets dragged on to the player that goes for it the furthest, but that would lead to sound.
Yeah, yeah. But yes, that would. So I guess we've talked about the general thing. So what would you like to add some new character classes aside from just the warrior, the Valkyrie, the wizard, the archer? Um, they added like four other characters in Dark Legacy. They added the jester, the sorceress, which is basically a female wizard. Um, the dwarf, which was basically kind of like, and the knight. So it was like kind of,
Well, the idea that you well when you mentioned something earlier, it gave me the idea of Spark in a sense to work with what could be an interesting concept for new characters, like the feline the feline characters, the wolves, the the falcon, the avian, and hmm, and the reptilians, which probably could go into one of the four categories each, depending on which one you be.
I could see that. Maybe go D&D and like add like classes that are more like D&D centric. So like this guy is basically like this guy is a dragon humanoid. This is a jackalope. This is this, that, and the other. I think that could kind of help.
Yeah,
Maybe
and each of them have
maybe
their own abilities because of their species. Like dragons could be weaker to ice creatures, but can easily on flaming creatures and low and level lower level demons.
yeah, like fire doesn't really do that much damage to them, or like maybe if, or even better, they're just strong against all elements. But if you're fighting enemies that have Dragon Slayer weapon equipped, which you can tell because maybe Dragon Slayer weapons have a certain color. Dragon Slayer enemies wear a certain color armor and have certain color weapons. Like they do extra damage against that type of character. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that would be a good idea.
stuff like that.
In fact, that could actually work to um character that would be a big problem with certain area, especially when you have those annoying monster generators.
Oh yes, the monster generators. um, I would like to continue. I would like to keep the turbo attacks from Legends and Dark Legacy because they were great for doing damage, and the legendary weapons. I like those. I like those legendary weapons because like they made it easier to fight bosses. So finding them made it easier to like defeat enemies. It's like, plus the announcer needed something to do. You found the ice axe of Untar. So that made that froze the dragon. So if you had the wizard, you could run up to the dragon, use the wizard's yellow turbo attack, which basically was a rock avalanche that did massive damage to the dragon because the dragon was huge. And each of those rocks, each of those rocks counted as a hit. And the avalanche was like 60, 70 rocks hitting that one enemy. It would take off like a third of the dragon's health. It was cheap. It was so cheap.
I was gonna
I
say
loved it.
it. Sadly, sadly once, but every but one time can actually make a difference. This is from some of my past experiences trying to take on certain bosses that they only get one one effect from with with you, and it cuts their health down to a certain point. You, I found it a bit annoying that it couldn't have, but I found out that every bit of it helps in a sense that it makes it go faster, but it'll mean that you're in range of those aspirations. So if we might have those might be able to use them at least more than once if we have potions for it.
Like a turbo potion that lets you use more, like refills your turbo meter so you can use more turbo attacks.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
allow
either.
you to use that move that hurts them a lot more often.
Yeah, that would be cool. Either that or they do a thing where essentially like the more you use like if you do melee attacks against enemies, that replenishes your turbo attack, your turbo meter faster than if you just use projectiles.
Mm-hmm.
So it becomes a balancing act of running in, getting some hits in, running out to charge your turbo meter so that you can do more damage. That'd be cool.
Yeah, mostly every time I had to go into a battlefield, since because I wanted to be ready in case the monster sends his trouble. My
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends on what type of what who your character is. Like different characters were good at different things. Like the warrior was good at melee attacks. The archer was
I'm
good
usually
at
the
just
wizard.
yeah. The wizard, like with the wizard, it was basically okay. I'm gonna hang back, fire a lot of projectiles, until my turbo meter reaches red or yellow. And if it's yellow, I'm going to use the avalanche and destroy like a whole bunch of enemies around me and then destroy the generator. And if it's red, I'm just going to use Demon Skull and aim it and just mow through all these dudes and destroy the generator. And really, the wizard's Demon Skull was cheap. I loved it, but it was cheap. Like your wizard is summoning Demon Skull. It's like that sounds really badass, actually. That sounds totally metal, my friend.
Yeah, in short, give the breathing room button for you facing a lot of trouble. Click the button and watch the out.
Basically, yeah. But yeah, I was a huge. I really did um like the wizard was my favorite character. If I didn't use the wizard, my other favorite character to use in the game was the alternate for the warrior, which was the Minotaur, because I mean he looked badass. Let's just keep it real. Dude looked totally badass. Um,
Mm-hmm.
as a matter of fact, I think I can find a picture of the Minotaur. Here, let me use screen share.
This will be fun.
Let's see, the Minotaur. From Gauntlet Legends. No, that's the Archer.
Bottom left.
No, that's not the Minotaur. That's from that shitty Wii game. That crappy cat. This is from Dark Legacy. Sorry, no. This is from Dark Legacy. Like that's the enchant, that's the sorceress, that's the knight, that's the dwarf, that's the jester. Those are the three new characters, and they basically suck. There's the
How
Minotaur.
bad?
This I think this is from the PlayStation version. The PlayStation version of this game sucked. It was terrible. Um, and here's four Minotaurs: the yellow Minotaur, the blue Minotaur, the red Minotaur, the green Minotaur. Which didn't really mean anything until you played the game, until you realized that those color swaps changed the ethnicity of your character. So like the yellow warrior was a black guy. The other warriors were white guys. It was kind of shitty, but they changed that for Dark Legacy. Like the yellow warrior was a black guy, but like the blue warrior, like the green warrior was an Asian dude. I liked it. I thought that was a
It's
nice
details like that
kind of
that make those games have more flavor.
Well, the thing is like they basically were able to do something that we can't get in games today. You could actually choose the race of your character, and it didn't feel like, well, you're just being a douche. Like it actually felt, like it was appropriate. But yeah, huge Gauntlet fan. They need to bring it back. I thought the story was kind of like forced, but it didn't bother me because I liked the characters. I mean, I liked the game was fun to play. The multiplayer was on point too.
You bet that, right? Especially since I
It wasn't.
know that some of those multiplayer sessions was where things get chaotic when you're trying to
Well,
save your partner.
because you'd always wind up having someone who just didn't play the game correctly, and you know what I'm talking about. Like someone who would open a chest. It's like, don't open that chest. Don't open that chest. Please don't open that chest. Please, for the love of God, don't open that chest. And they do it anyway, and you'd be like, why would you do that? That chest, or they'd step on a trap and get everyone in trouble, or it's like, oh, that's a golem. Don't mess with it. Don't get so close to the golem. And they do it anyway, and it's like, come on, man, don't.
One character in our gaming sessions, the forward fighter, or as some people joke, Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins. Here's the irony, right? Here's the irony is that when people say I wasn't around when that thing got big. But here's the thing. I actually knew a guy that used to work for my grandfather whose name was Leroy Jenkins. So when people are like, Leroy Jenkins, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like I didn't get it. I'm like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, Leroy Jenkins.
You didn't get it for a whole week.
No, I didn't get it, period, because I didn't hang out with people like that. Like that wasn't a thing to me. Like I was like, okay, I don't get what's so funny about it. And then I realized it's like when someone throws themselves wholeheartedly into something that they have no chance of winning, and they just go for it. Leroy Jenkins. I was like,
yeah.
God, that's horrifying on so many levels.
That's funny to me because it shows there's people stupidly bold. They don't care how it ends.
Basically, they just jump into it.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically, like I said, Gauntlet Legends is one of my personal favorites. But I know this is Hump Day, and I think we've pretty much exhausted Gauntlet Legends. So I guess we can kind of talk about a little bit of the news that's been going up, which is Activision's whole finding a way to basically make people to entice people to want to pay more for microtransactions in order to keep up with everybody else.
Well, it's something I mentioned earlier. I called it. I hope that Cupid doesn't take this idea of matchmaking for. It talks about a patent that happened in 2015 that matches people on based on their ratios, which is kind of sickening.
I mean, I'm just not surprised. It's like one of those things where it's like I'm just not surprised by it because it's Activision.
I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm not fully surprised, but it sickens me. It means that some people are going to be either get good, get pay up some green, or see the game.
Well, of course, because it incentivizes people to spend money they don't have on fake stuff, which is hilarious to me.
Uh,
It's like I
there's
don't mind
something worse
spending
than fake
money.
stuff. Fake stuff that has a limited life on the game.
Well, fake stuff that doesn't really mean anything. Because here's the thing: like just because you're tiered up against a high level character right now doesn't mean you won't be like even once you can beat those people, that stuff isn't going to get more tiered up later on. You know what I mean? Like you get past this tier, it doesn't mean the next tier you're not going to be the low man on the totem playing high tier people.
Yeah, because you can buy them, but they can body you too.
Basically. But that's Activision for you. Activision. Yeah, let's just screw people over because that's what we do.
What other trash can we nail down before we sleep it out of here?
Here's something. I don't know if people are aware of it, but um, this is kind of old, but I'm gonna talk about it. GameStop blames lagging Xbox One sales for poor software performance. This is from this
Did
summer,
I hear
but
that right? GameStop
yeah.
is blaming Xbox for poor, or did I hear that wrong?
No, you heard it right. Basically, what they're saying is that the reason that they posted a loss is because Microsoft isn't selling enough Xboxes, which I mean, it's one of those things that's both like on the surface has some merit, but when you really think about it, it doesn't.
That's what I was trying to not laugh. So if you're dependent on third-party items to make up your inventory, um,
Yeah, that's on you. That's your fault. You can't blame other people for your bad services.
yeah, especially when the service that you're supposed to be having making you the income in the first place.
Yeah, essentially, and that's essentially what's going on with GameStop. Um, but then again, I don't feel bad because GameStop ran a lot of mom and pop video game, like smaller, more intimate, with more knowledgeable staff out of business. So I can't say I really feel sorry for GameStop as it is right now. I'm like, what goes around comes around. So, you know,
Makes me wonder where their pocket money from. And again, I just remembered they're they're trying to sell tablets and phone services.
Yeah. I mean, basically, the same thing that happened to GameStop is not get to Radio Shack is happening to GameStop, right? Like Radio Shack used to be a valid place to go and buy electronics way back in the day, like 30 years ago, like 30, 25 years ago. Like, because I remember when I was a kid, my parents used to go there to get like headphones for their record player and boom box and sound system and like my dad used to go there to get um when my parents were still married. My dad would get like uh, like new needles for his record player and electronic stuff because my dad was kind of a tech head and would like why like my dad basically wired our house so that wired like the VCR in our house so that basically one VCR would spread the signal out to two TVs in our house, one in our basement and one in the master bedroom. It was awesome, So like you could watch because we had a dual VCR, so you could watch one thing on one TV and then another thing on another TV. It was insane. And like Radio Shack was good for stuff like that. Or if you wanted to buy a phone. See, folks, I'm dating myself here. See, there was a time where you had phones that you actually plugged into a landline. That's right, folks. Phones.
Sadly, the digital age kicked kicked Radio Shack in the gyms.
Well, Radio Shack kicked themselves in the gyms with doubling like because basically like the stuff that Radio Shack sells you can get off of Amazon, from Best Buy, and numerous other places for literally 50 to 60% less than what Radio Shack sells it for. Like I remember one day I went to Radio Shack that was right next door to, ironically, a GameStop at my local
It's
mall
funny
because I
because
was
that's true at around my area.
yeah, it was like there's the GameStop and the Radio Shack is like literally right next door. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go in here and see what's happening, see what's going on. And I go inside and there's like literally Radio Shack feels like I got in a time machine and went back to the 90s. Cause I go in there and here's what they're selling in this Radio Shack. They're selling RC cars, okay? RC cars that like literally are not high quality, and they're selling them for like $60 to over $100. Okay,
They're
for an
selling bad
RC
radio control cars, nearly
for
$100.
for what they're calling their higher tier ones, and then on top of that they have some more how can I put this? Some lower tier ones that are like,
50.
No, the lower tier ones were 60. They were selling like physical phones, like still landline phones for like $50. And I was like, you can get a
Thinking, seriously, you could get a lower budget game of today's age for 50, and they're trying a physical phone that works on landlines.
well, what I was thinking was is that I could get a landline phone for like $20 with lots of bells and whistles. These were just basic landline phones. They were selling a flashlight that also was an AM radio, not an AM FM radio. No, that'd be too swanky. For $50.
First, only AM. That, that's all the Christian radio station. And second, $50 for a one flashlight.
Basically, yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous. Like this is why Radio Shack is dead, because you people don't know how to run a business. You're lame.
Yeah, because some of those things, see, for $10.
And they were also selling. They were also selling some other stuff that was. They also were selling an Xbox One um, for like $500 because this is when it just first came out, and it was $500. They were selling cell phone packages for like between $49.99 and $150 because it had fused with a Sprint store, or was it Nextel, T-Mobile, whatever. Like basically, Radio Shack is just sad. It's gone now, but and Radio Shack had lived for a long time, but they're gone now. But GameStop is following down that path. Um, speaking of something that's sad, recently it came out that it's rumored that Warner Brothers is done with Lego Dimensions. Um,
In a way,
yeah.
I'm actually glad because they seeing what happened to Disney Infinity, I wouldn't for trying to find the exit.
Well, really, the only Toys to Life things that are actually selling are Amiibo first and foremost, and then to a secondary extent,
The Skylanders.
the Skylanders, and that's it. And I don't think I think unless unless Skylanders starts getting a bit smarter with how they make them, like and not making people buy portals of power and all this extra junk. Just okay, here's the game. Here's 2 figurines. You can beat the game with these 2 characters. Okay, go. Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what's grinding my gears because because it's nearly coming out every year with new figures, Skylanders, new portals of power.
Well, I mean, Skylanders was almost every 18 months to 2 years you were getting new stuff from Skylanders. Which I mean, 2 years to add new stuff, I'm not gonna get that angry about it. Okay, except for the special stuff where they were like, "Hey, it's Bowser and Donkey Kong." I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But
I got the
but
Bowser
with
ones.
but with Lego, it's like almost every 4 months they were coming out with some new stuff. It's like it's The Simpsons, it's the
Really?
Lego Movie, it's Michael Knight from Knight Rider. I'm like, what? How the like? Okay, let me put it this way: the Lego Movie stuff I can understand because that's Lego Movie stuff. But how did you get Michael Knight into this? Like when I look at Legos, I never thought to myself, it'd be cool if Michael Knight and Kit were in this. Even though that is some cool theme music, but still.
I have to facepalm because I just realized how many how many sets were in the Lego game? Because I know how expensive those like $30 a pack. Eesh.
I mean, they are expensive. I never got into Lego Dimensions because I was like, I don't like the idea of having. Because here's the thing, Legos are really expensive these days, right? Because when I was a kid, you'd get like a box of Legos and some Lego men, and you'd be good, and that would be like $50, and your parents would be like, here, and you'd be good with that for like the next year and a half, 2 years. Because I mean, sure, you'd lose bits and pieces of your Lego set over time because they're Legos, they're meant to
They're
be
Legos,
lost.
and they get sucked. They get going through the like vacuum cleaners, sweeping, etc., etc.
Lost, turned into a minefield that your parents late at night step on a Lego and you hear your parents cussing. um,
Yeah, but seriously,
and then your
Legos
parents
shouldn't cost that
accidentally
much.
throw away some of your Legos. They're like, yeah, fuck these Legos. After stepping on them a few times. But I mean, basically, like Lego used to be kind of cheap. There's a Lego store at my local mall, and my God, I went in there one day because a part of me still likes Legos. Like I have a Millennium Falcon Lego set that I made like 3 years ago. That's still in one piece, and like I have a Lego X-wing that I made a few years ago. Um, so I mean, a part of me, I do like Legos, but like Lego is ridiculous. It's mad expensive these days. Like the Lego Millennium Falcon was like $150, and it was on sale. Like it was like normally it's like 300 something. The Lego X-wing was a gift from my girlfriend, and she told me she spent like $80 on it because it's a smaller set, it has less blocks. But
Seriously, these Legos are getting.
yeah, I'd rather just buy the game. Which listen, Lego may have messed up with Traveler's Tales may have messed up with Lego Dimensions because it was too much. Like they would have done better just making a Lego Dimensions game first, and then like once the game did well, hey, instead of an expansion pack, you spend $30 and you get this set of characters. Each character has their own like 3 or 4 levels that come with that you can basically unlock, and new content that you can unlock with these characters. And maybe like each set has like maybe like $20 and you get like 6 characters, six figurines.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
that would, and
yeah, I
that, I
was
mean,
thinking.
people might feel a little cheated, but I mean, you're still getting like 3 levels for per character, 6 characters. That's 18 extra levels. I mean, that's not that bad. I don't think.
Is it so much to ask to have at least some kind of cheaper? And again, the rip-offs are actually looking a lot more moment.
Nah, man. Mega Blocks will never be close to Lego.
I know Lego. I know they all have the Lego quality, but at price, they are attempting to at least draw me in.
From what I've discovered, if you don't get the Lego sets, it's a lot easier. Like if you just get like a box of Legos, it's cheaper. Like you can spend $20 and you get a nice amount of Legos in a box set. From when we were kids. And I know some people are gonna say, "You're a grown ass man. Why are you doing Legos?" I don't actually do Legos, but some of the kids I tutor or have special needs, and Legos helps me get to them easier, to interact with them easier. So yeah,
Legos are in a sense a gateway for kids and adults.
yes, and plus Lego are very stimulate your creativity, and they're very geometrical they like if you're teaching a science class, Lego are great for engineering and physics and building construction, that type of thing. So it's great. It's great. It's like,
Yeah,
why do you have a Jedi? Why do you have Darth Vader in this? Look, I needed a Lego character to do this physics thing, and all I could find that was in one piece was Darth Vader. So we're just gonna have to work with Darth Vader, okay? Cut me some slack, people.
trust me. You have a problem of your Legos in one piece.
Like they say, throw me a freaking bone here, people. But
Doctor Evil.
but yeah, but Lego is coming up with something cool. Something that I'm looking forward to, and that's in November. They're coming out with Lego Marvel 2, and there won't be a Fantastic Four or X-Men. Actually, I don't really care about the X-Men not being in it, but no Fantastic Four hurts my soul. But
That is something that's middle fingering a lot of people.
well, I mean, because like the Fantastic Four are like one of my favorite. Like the first Marvel comic I ever read was a Fantastic Four comic. So I'm a Fantastic Four fanboy. And no Fantastic Four, but that's not really Marvel's fault. That's Fox making those shitty movies. Thanks a lot, Fox. You just keep on. You just won't look. Listen, cut a deal with Marvel so we can get a good Fantastic Four movie, please, because you guys aren't making them.
And it's going to be a while till we see that happen.
No, no. Ironically, the best Fantastic Four movie is the one that has the shittiest special effects. The one made by that was never released. Um, that was never released on theatrically. That like was just made so that they could hold on to the rights. So, I mean, it's dated, but if you guys, I think it's in public domain now, so you can watch it on YouTube. The Fantastic Four film, it's actually not that bad. It's not good, but it's not that bad. Fantastic Four.
The power of four. Four.
I do like the Fantastic Four. I'm one of those people that likes the Fantastic Four. So yeah, I think we've reached the end of the thing. We talked about Gauntlet and how we think it could be brought back. We talked a little bit about Activision essentially making games addictive, like basically they patented a algorithm that makes it so that people are more enticed to spend extra money on video games. And of course, we talked about Lego Dimensions. So with that being said, I guess we can promote anything else, and then we'll wrap things up.
That's why I advertised earlier. I think we cut it all down. So until ladies and gentlemen, this is Red Fox and Jewel Rider signing off. And don't forget to juices.
This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor, as you guys know, of BS Busters and the Sci-Fi Power Hour. And now I guess this is a new thing, the Hump Day cast, which is going to be on Wednesdays. Not every Wednesday, but whenever we have a topic that someone wants to talk about, Wednesday will be the day. So yeah, I have some more videos coming from the Let's Play for Shadow Man, so look forward to that. I also have Saturday's BS Busters at 7. Not BS Busters, Sci-Fi Power. I might move that to 7:30 because I'm going out to dinner with a friend.
I was about to say Sci-Fi Power Hour at Saturdays and BS Busters at 7 that Sunday.
Yes, but I'll be moving this Sci-Fi Power Hour this Sunday to 7:30 instead of 7 because I'm going out to dinner. But other than that, the next BS Busters will be 7 to 8:30, 9 o'clock Sunday. So we're going to be covering some good stuff this Sci-Fi Power Hour. We're going to be talking about lesser known. Well, we're going to be talking about lesser known science fiction TV shows and movies that we think people should watch. That they aren't Star Wars, they aren't Star Trek, they aren't Battlestar Galactica.
I might have to drop in to hear which ones you got in mind.
Yeah, it's like I never heard of that one. Yeah. It's like we'll talk about sci-fi TV shows. It's like it's not Outer Limits and Twilight Zone, but it's close. It's kind of like that, but not quite.
It's near.
And Sunday we're going to talk about the news of the week. So we definitely will talk about EA shuttering Visceral Games and the Activision algorithm thing. Talk about all that fun stuff. So yeah, Saturday and Sunday. If you guys have any questions, don't be afraid to use the chat section in this video to leave questions for Sunday's BS Busters, or the chat section on Saturday's Sci-Fi Power Hour for Sunday's BS Busters. So whatever you want to do, peace, enjoy, good night.
Night-night.